Hello everyone, my name is Mubina. How many seconds do you think it took to generate this cat and the creature behind it, but that's irrelevant. Maybe probably a second. Probably we ignore that. Probably a second or maybe even less if you have the latest phone that folds into two with its 16 different lenses. But let's say a second. In that 1 second, this cat produced more energy, consumed more energy than what a light bulb would in a single hour. Hello everyone, my name is Mubina again. And today I would like to talk about something that's become an integral part of all our lives. Oh, narcissism. Artificial intelligence. And, spoiler alert, not to be dramatic or anything, but it's kind of like a little bit killing our planet. So nowadays, it's tempting to use AI for absolutely anything and everything, from writing our essays to skipping our homework. But how we, it's convenient, efficient, let's be honest, kind of fun. Some of us have that as our guilty pleasures. But have we ever, stopped to consider what the cost of this convenience? What is this? Okay, what the cost of this convenience is. Any product, whether physical or digital, that makes all of our lives easier, like waking up in the morning, because that's so hard, that makes all of our lives easier, comes with a price to pay, either through dreadful advertisements that have become unskippable nowadays, or actual transactions. And yet none of us have stopped to ask ourselves this question, because asking such a long question is so realistic. Stop. What is the hidden cost of me using AI right now? What am I doing? First of all, let's start with the numbers. Facts that no one, absolutely no one can argue against. And yes, I'm a nerd. This is fun for me. AI, every single time you ask ChatGPT, for example, a single question, it consumes 2.9 watt-hours of energy, which is 10 times more than a simple Google search. 2.9, 10, they may seem insignificant, but when you multiply that by the millions of queries of millions of daily users, the numbers start adding up. And their sum is big, surely, yay common sense, but it's not all that beautiful. According to a study, AI currently accounts for 20% of global data center electricity use. And by the end of 2025, in a few months, this could rise to 50% of global electricity consumption. And I haven't even started my New Year's resolutions yet, but AI is, wow, speeding off. If this happens, and it most likely will, because we all use ChatGPT and Gemini, DeepSeek, everything else, AI would be consuming more energy than the entire country of Switzerland. And the International Energy Agency predicts that by 2030, by the end of this decade, which is closer to us than the beginning of this decade, AI would be consuming the same amount of electricity as the most technologically country in the world, one of the most, Japan. Do we understand this? We could have more of all of this. We could have a few more Switzerlands and Japan sprinkled around the globe, and yet we're letting them slip right under our noses. I'm being dramatic, obviously, but I'm trying to make a point. Now let's talk about image generation, AI art, avatars, anime versions of your fish, your dog, yourselves. I guess people do that. Humans generate 1.4 trillion images every single year. That's 160 million photos a day. And yet, that's more than enough to capture every single thing you had for lunch, every single sunset, and every, suspicious image that you downloaded off a suspicious website. And yet, as if that's not enough, we generate more artificially. And those artificial images are blurry, inaccurate, and sometimes kind of off-putting. You can find horses with 15 legs and humans with none. And worse, this process is 20 times more environmentally harmful than than simply using a stock image, according to MIT, which makes sense. Again, common sense. Using an existing thing is easier than making a slightly different version of that same thing and using that. But beyond the environmental impact, there's also a psychological aspect to consider. Many of us turn to AI for validation, ego stroking, asking questions like, they're mean. Am I an angel, ChatGPT? I'm cool, ChatGPT, right? Right? For your information, artificial intelligence is made to attract more users more frequently. So And we, my fellow human beings, we're the prey, we're the target. And don't start, AI is going to eat me. No, AI is going to please you. It's going to try to, at least. All previous interactions, AI analyzes, and it gives us what us humans want to hear, and it's predictable because we like hearing something that makes us seem good and great and glorious. So AI models tell millions of users every single day that they're the most extraordinary human being on the planet. No. Okay. And a lot of people, even students at top universities like Stanford, Harvard, MIT, the popular ones, they have been complaining that since they've been using AI, they have been feeling more incompetent. Because when you use AI, it doesn't just take the effort or the time. It also takes the curiosity, the creativity, the chance to go off track and actually learn something and research it and incarnate it into your brain. Also, this is quite an interesting statistic. 80% of people who use artificial intelligence say please or thank you to robots, which is ironic because 80% of people aren't polite to other people, but that's a topic for another day. And yes, being polite to a robot, it's sweet. It's very adorable, and it's also very destructive. Every single word that is exchanged between you and AI models increases the processing load. For those who didn't understand, when you do that, you consume more energy, which ultimately emits more CO2. And I think we all know, because common sense, what CO2 does to our planet. It destroys it. So, we're kind of destroying our planet, but at least we're doing it politely. And 15 to 18% of these people think that AI and saying thank you is going to keep them from a technological apocalypse. So they think that one please or thank you is going to help them be that guy. And I think that in this case, we would all want to be that guy. Finally, I'd like to leave you with one final bit of data that I found quite, eye-opening and a bit disappointing. If we were to rank the most common uses of AI today, the list would, in a nutshell, probably look something like this. So at number 1, coming off strong, we have emotional validation, using AI as your, personal therapist, or your best friend, or your parent that you never had or couldn't keep from abandoning you. But that's a sensitive topic and we're mature. And then, at number 2, we have a very serious issue, and I know that this may trigger some feelings in some of you, and please bear with me, because, your feelings are valid and I understand them, but this is something very important. We have memes, gamer memes, cat videos, and, generating photos of you with Donald Trump's head on a moon made of cheese. We do that. That's what we do with AI. And then at number 3, logically, what we have all used AI for, me too. Number 3, we have using AI for homework, asking questions like, ChatGPT, what is 5 times 7 minus 23? It's 12, by the way, for those who want to prove your mental math. And the list continues as such. We have, useless information, meaningless questions. And then ranked 437 is solving global problems. Interesting. We are using the most powerful tool we have ever created, and by we, I mean the scientists, we have done nothing, that people, humanity, has ever created to skipping our homework and stroking our egos, but we're not using it for what it was originally intended for, which is, making education more accessible or solving global problems. When AI was made, the big people who actually wanted to make it wanted AI to analyze big data, to solve big problems, not why your favorite celebrity isn't DMing you back. And yes, that's what we're doing. And maybe that's one of the costs of this convenience. We're wasting potential, not just ours, but also of AIs. It's spending more time doing all this instead of doing this. I'm not saying that we should completely abandon AI. It's a powerful tool that when you use it wisely, it could benefit us and so many other people in the world. I'm saying that when there are better alternatives, use them. Google the translation of that, that weird French phrase or Spanish song. Write that message, that birthday message, that's someone special by your hand. Send it off with a pigeon. And please don't fall into every single digital trend that you find online, like the Ghibli one I know many of us entertained ourselves with because we have dreams of being Japanese. So we have a choice. We can either spend another hour generating unattractive presentations with, AI generated images with missing pieces or body parts, or we could turn our light on, which would consume less energy than ChatGPT, open up a book and actually read about a topic, actually learn something. Save our energy, save our planet, and maybe, just maybe, save our minds as well. Thank you.